If you know anything about the evening force set, you'll understand. Whoever sold that to her wanted to make sure she was using it right, in the right order. So somebody wrote 1 on that thing. And I said, oh my goodness, what is this? And she told me, it's twice as good as what I'm using at home. And as soon as she said it's twice as good, I ended the conversation and turned the other way. If it's twice as good, it's like $200 then. I don't want to pay $200 for this. So I left. So she did the research and she went online and she told me, she said, honey, it's only like $15 for one. I was like, $15? That's great. Come here, sit down. And I talked to her and I was like, honey, please use this for the rest of your life. Right? Why? Because I understood that it was going to save us money, and she agreed to it because it was twice as good as what she was using. So Atomy naturally is able to change consuming habit. Because my wife's consuming habit was marketed to her online with people saying that if you're a young 20-something-year-old, you should be using this companies, and all these marketers who are people who are celebrities are marketing these products and saying, if you use this, you'll look like this and that. But that's all a lie, right? But we fall for that lie, and we don't know any better, so we buy those items. But then my wife, she used this product in a white bottle with a permanent marker 1 on it, and still fell in love with it because the quality was that good. That's Atomy.
Yes.
And as soon as she started to use that, I started to research the company. And I researched the company and understood, wow, if this is real, then this can change my life. If this company is really free, if this company is really someone who desires to provide absolute quality and absolute price for individuals because they are a company founded on Christian principles and love, then this is something that I need to do. And I went in and watched the first lecture. Right? So I went into the US website, I uploaded the VOD, it said company introduction and this and that. And I turned it on and I watched this grandpa lecture his heart out. He had white hair and I was like, oh my goodness, who is this guy? Come to find out, that grandpa was CEO Park. So I watched that VOD, and as soon as I got like 5 minutes into it, I had tears rolling down my face. I started to cry. I did not cry because of anything special, but it was tears of joy, because I knew for a fact, when I was watching that, I said, wow, I'm going to be rich now. I finally found the tool that's going to change my life. I've been looking and looking since I was 17. I wanted to become a millionaire by the age 30. So every day I would be struggling to do this and do that. Even at a young age, I was the one out there hustling, right? When I was in 3rd grade, I lived in a 2-story apartment, and the lady downstairs, she was elderly and she couldn't go to her mailbox. So she came up to me and she said, Joo, can you please get my mail for me? I said, no problem, ma'am. Thinking nothing about it, went and got the mail for her, and she gave me a quarter. I was like, she's giving me money. So you know what I did? I went knocking on all the grandma's doors. I said, what do you need? You just got to give me a quarter. At a young age, I wanted to do business, but there's nothing that I can really do. So when I saw this was a turning point for me. I said, okay, let's do it. And I watched that video, and then as soon as that video ended, I lifted up my laptop, ran to my wife. She was reading a book in her bed. It was about midnight. And I said, you got to watch this grandpa's video. And she was like, what? Who is this? What is this? I was like, don't worry, just watch it. And I was staring at her watching it, but she wasn't crying. I thought she'd start crying too. I thought she'd be so shocked, like, whoa! No, she was just like, who is this? You know? And I told her, I said, honey, we have to do Atomy, because Atomy is going to change our lives.
Yes.
And that was 6 years ago. And I started to do Atomy. Everybody told me that I would fail. Nobody told me, oh, right, great job, you do that MLM. Nobody told me that. They say, do you know what MLMs do to people's relationships? Nobody's going to call you, everybody's going to reject you, and you're going to make everybody just go away from you. I was like, oh, really? And I asked them, I said, so, have you done MLM before? They said, no. Why would I do it, you know? And I started to think about, why are people so negative? Why do they not understand? And I said, listen, people who do MLM fail, right? She said, yeah. I was like, people who work a 9 to 5 get fired, right? Yeah. People who start their own online business fail, right? Yeah. People who start their own brick and mortar fail, right? Yeah. I was like, everybody will fail if they do it wrong, right? If you're able to give value in whatever it's that you're doing, you will succeed. So, yes, I don't like MLMs either. And I'm glad that you don't. But do you brush your teeth? And well, you know what she said? Of course I brush my teeth. You know? So that means that you're giving your money to somebody else to get a toothbrush, right? She's like, yeah. Well, what if I was able to provide you with a better quality, a cheaper price? Would you buy my product? She said, yeah. I was like, but well, you know something better? You can buy it from yourself and get that rebate to yourself. She's like, that's my MLM. She's like, oh, all right. I like this one then. That's the process. You see how easy it is to introduce MLMs to people if it gives value. Yes. But if you have to start off with, you know, businesses cost a lot, but my business is only going to cost you $200, and you just have to buy maybe like $100 each month, you will never be able to register anybody. Yes. Agree?
Yes.
So CEO Park loves us.
Yes.
That's why he created this business the way that he did, because he was somebody who did network marketing before. Yeah. And he saw the struggles of the market. And then he saw the negative impact of what it means to try to create a business with registration fees and monthly purchase requirements. Because he has run his own company before. He understood that if he was to collect from you a registration fee and a monthly fee, then he would be in a position where he didn't have to try to create the best items for you. Because he'd be comfortable, because the company wouldn't be in the red. They would be okay. Because even if you didn't buy each month, you would have to pay us anyways. But if there is no registration fee and there is no monthly purchase requirement, that means that you will only purchase items in Atomy that you see value in. So if he does not create items that bring value to you, his business will fail. So therefore, he positioned himself this way, so he has to promise you something good, or else it will never be a win-win.
Yes.
We need to give him a round of applause. So as we're doing this business, we come to understand the motto. The motto says what? To cherish the spirit, to create the vision, to follow the faith, and lastly, to serve in humility. Yep. What company says these things? No. We're able to do these things because what? Because the CEO has created a system where the individuals who do not deserve to succeed can still succeed. We live in a world where we only get what we deserve, right? People say, you get what you deserve, right? Every single individual will agree with me and say that you will be paid up to your ability. And if your ability lacks, once you get to that position and your character lacks, you will fall, right? For example, if you want to go to Harvard, right? Everybody knows Harvard? Yeah, Harvard, it's a nice school, right? I wish I could go there. But I didn't even apply. Because that would have been a waste of my registration fee. If I want to go to Harvard, that means that I have to be able to pass the exams, top level, pass my interviews, and all these things, right? That means that I have to have the ability to get into that location, right? If I lack the ability, then I can't get in. For example, if everybody in this room today, if I give you a Korean proficiency test, some of you will do well, but most will fail. Right? Because you lack Korean proficiency. If many of you start a regular business today, you will fail because you lack business proficiency. That's the bottom line. It's nothing special. So people who succeed in that Korean proficiency test, they have for many years been able to study this language and are able to pass the test. If you do well in your business, that means for many years you have understood the concept of business and have that experience to run a business. But if you lack those things, you will fail. But how do you create a system where everybody then who lacks still has the ability to succeed? That's a big question mark. And that's something that CEOs do not think about because they don't need to worry about you. But CEO Park thought and thought and thought and thought, how can I give back to the world? Even if I become a millionaire, I can't pay everybody money. That doesn't make any sense. Everybody wants to work for their own money. People want to give value, right? You want to be able to work and feel good about what you're doing. So how do you do that then? Then create a system where everybody can succeed. So I thought about this too. I tried to think about this concept, and when I went to Korea, I was blessed to be able to get a position as a professor at a university. And when I became a professor, I wanted to do a few tests on my students. They were my guinea pigs, right? So I wanted to see if everybody that I helped will pass the exam, okay? So I told everybody, I said, listen, we will have a test on these things in 2 weeks. Please study, okay? And they're like, oh, okay, and then test date came, I gave them the test, and sure enough, many failed. Even when I gave them the answers, right? And I thought to myself, why is this so? And I understood that some people lack the ability to memorize the material needed to pass the test. Brain not so good, right? Can't help it. So I said, how can I make them all pass that? I said, all right, let me do what Atomy did, okay? So I said, all right, students, you have 50 minutes. You can look on your phone for your answers. You can look on your book for your answers. You can look on your notes. You can even look on your neighbor's paper. I'm going to leave the room. I'm not going to ask you how you got that answer on your paper, and I'll be back. And I came back. And sure enough, individuals who desire to pass the test, almost everybody in the room got the same answers. But there are still people in the room who didn't pass the test because they weren't willing to look for the answers. Okay. So even when I gave this amazing opportunity for my students, only the ones who desired to pass the test took action. But when they took action, they weren't limited to their ability, and everybody was able to pass as a team effort. That is Atomy.
Yes.
Atomy is this new system where you're able to cheat off of each other. Cheating is good when it benefits you.
Yes.
But this is no longer what we call cheating. It's called 재심합력, which means working together, right? It's a united synergy of heart, okay? And what does this mean? This means that you maybe lack the ability to sell products, meaning marketing. But your partner here is a very good marketer, right? Maybe it'll take you 100 tries to try to have a good 5-minute speech. But this person, they've been speaking for years. You give them a mic, they're like, all right, they can explain everything. But everything that your partners do, you gain 100% of everything they do.
Yes.
Does this sound fair? This is unfair. Just like my students looked on the smart person's paper to copy the answer. That is unfair. But taking all fairness and things aside, okay? If my goal for you is to become successful, then I have to be able to bend the rules because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if everybody in this room desires success, that means that there has to be no limitations as to how you get paid. So this means, for me, I worked really hard in the very beginning stages. I worked maybe 10 hours a day, 30 days. That's 300 hours. After 300 hours of hard work, I got paid $73.30. Is that a lot of money? That's about 25 cents an hour. Do I need to quit my job or keep going? If you think of this as a job, you have the wrong mentality. Atomy is a business.
Yes.
You are not paid according to your hourly wage. You are paid according to your results.
Yes.
But Atomy does not give you any stress. So watch. In other businesses, if you do not have the ability to already become successful in that field, you will fail. For example, let's say I open up a restaurant. Okay? Let's say I open up a hamburger shop. Okay? I open it up, and you're my first customers. You come. You eat my burger. I come to you and I ask you, how's the burger? And you say, oh man, this burger is horrible. And I say, don't worry, ma'am. It's my first day cooking. Come back next week, I'll be a little bit better. Are you going to come back next week?
No.
Of course not. Businesses do not wait for you to catch up.
Yeah.
Meaning that your ability needs to already be set, or else you will fail.
Yeah.
But in Atomy, you can be learning for 1 year and it doesn't cost you anything. For 1 year, you can be learning how to make that hamburger until you get it right. And when you get it right, you will be able to draw consumers in.
Yes.
It doesn't cost you money to start this business. And you have to think about it in the process, not just registration. Any business, even if you have the capital to start, you don't have the ability to make it successful, then you only have enough time until your money runs out. But in Atomy, you have all the time that you need. I hope that it doesn't take you forever, but you have forever because it's free. But Atomy waits for you. This company waits for you to get good enough to become successful.
Yes.
Because it doesn't give you any stress in terms of pay me every month.
Yeah.
You can register and get that position, and you can share with individuals, and individuals that trust you will register with you even if you're very bad at explaining. And then as time goes by, as you get rejected many times, you start to understand how to approach people. That's why it's amazing.
Yes.
Next, I did this, and I was registering people, and I was only selling the 6 set. Okay? Because that's all I wanted to buy and sell. Right? Because it was the highest PV. So I'm buying this, and I'm selling it and selling it and selling it, and it took me a month to get my commission. A month. And I was so proud of that. You know, in Korea, you can stick your bank book in the ATM and then it prints it out, right? It prints out your balance, right? So I took that and I went to my friends and I said, look, I got paid. And they would look at me and then they look at the bank book and look at me and they, are you missing a zero? Are you sure it's not 730? I was like, no, it's 730, it's 73. They're like, you have been brainwashed. Like, that company has brainwashed you. I said, what are you talking about? Do you not understand how I got this money? And then I'll talk to him about the compensation plan. I say, listen, it's not about the 300 hours, okay? It's about me creating 12 consumers on my A side and B side. That's why I got this. Because at the time, you had to sell 4 boxes of skincare to get 100K PV in Korea. So therefore, how many is that? 12. 12. And I was very proud of my 24 consumers. Because I knew that the product would go to work and I could follow up with them. And this time, they would buy more than just one item. And sure enough, next month I got 2 paychecks. Next month I got 3, 4. And when month 9 came around, I became a sales master.
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
That was because I wasn't chasing after each individual. In direct selling and in companies where you are not giving value, you sit one person down and this person runs away. Right? It's called a revolving door. You sit 3 people down and then you try to go get a 4th one and this one's running away, right? So you can never make passive income. Because passive income can only be created when people accumulate and they continue to purchase and give you money. If you're chasing each individual that you contacted, that is called active income. You are actively continuing to chase people. You'll never be successful. You'll always be stressed pulling your hair out. But in this business, that was not the case.
Yeah.
All the individuals that I was talking to for the past 9 months, they remained consumers.
Yes.
Because even if they were to go to their local market to buy their toothbrush and toothpaste and shampoo and whatever it was, they were saving money doing it through themselves.
Yeah.
So they continued to do it. And what happened was people started to get interested in the business. They said to me, hey, if I introduce this to her, do I get money? I was like, yeah. She was like, really? I was like, mm-hmm. But I don't know how to explain anything. I said, don't worry, okay? We'll conduct a home meeting. I was like, you invite all your aunties, I will come and speak. She's like, all right. She invited like 50 people. I was like, all right, good job. Let's get all our products and let them leave with the products. So what happened? In 9 months, I had lots of consumers and business partners. And I became an auto sales master after the 9th month, and I never lost my mastership from then on.
Yeah.
Every single month, I was making it.
Yeah.
And as a diamond master, I became, in 1.5 years, I was a member of the Leaders Club,
Wow.
making over $100,000. And after 3.5 years or so, when I was a Sharon Rose Master, I became a Royal Leaders Club member.
Wow.
So that means that I had a lot of consumers buying a lot of things. And the way to auto is the best way.
Yes.
And let me teach you how to do that now, okay? So as you understand this business, you understand that, yes, I have a business now, right?
Yes.
Even though it was free to start, imagine that this business cost you $1 million to start.
Yeah.
Okay? And imagine that this lecture today, you paid me a minimum $5,000 a piece. Okay? That's a month's salary that you're giving me right now. That means that this lecture should be valuable to you, right? I hope that you're not listening to this lecture like, oh, it was free anyway, so, If you want to become successful in anything, first thing you need to do is mindset.
Yes.
You need the correct train of thought, and you need self-control.
Yeah.
The most difficult business to become successful in is a business where you are your own boss.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody telling you what to do. For example, if you work for somebody and you understand, I will be fired if I do not go to work today because it's raining. If that's your excuse, like, why didn't you go to work today? It's drizzling. Couldn't make it. Oh, okay. You don't need to make it tomorrow either, sir. You will be fired. But if you are working for yourself and you're like, oh, got to get up at 9 and start pumping these lectures out, you're like, oh, I'll just get up at 9:30. Right? Because you're your own boss.
Yeah.
So every day you need to make yourself accountable. Make yourself accountable to your sponsors and your partners. Create daily goals. Each day I require all my partners to do daily goals. I have duplicated myself with all my leaders. So every single day they get a report from their downline members who do this business as to what they promised to do tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's the fastest way to grow your business. Because once you're accountable for each other, you're doing it out of love.
Yes.
You want them to be successful. So you're pushing them because you want them to be successful. Right?
Yeah.
And when you have the same understanding as with your partners, they understand this as you giving them love, not you nagging them. That's why it needs to be out of love. It cannot be, hey, why didn't you sell 300K yesterday so I can get 15 points? Right? It shouldn't be like that. It should be, honey, you're working so hard and you're meeting all your friends, but no PV's coming up. I think we need to talk, sit down and see maybe you're not doing this right. You know, you're spending 10 hours talking to all these people and buying coffee, but you still haven't been able to register a single member. That's not to shame them, but that's to your concern.
Yeah.
Because if they continue to go do the business this way, what's going to happen? They may burn out.
Yes.
So you want to sit down with them, be like, all right, pretend that I'm your consumer, okay? You do your speech to me, okay? And then you tick off, you're like, okay, maybe we can work on this, maybe we can work on this, and you help them out of love. And as you do those things, you start to duplicate them so they can do that with their partners. So auto sales masters, you become an auto sales master in this way in building consumers. Number one, everything is active to passive, okay? 100% of your efforts is needed to create consumers. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is 100% dependent on who? On you. Not your sponsor, not your partner, on you. Okay? But the beauty of Atomy is you can go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. 1 is 100% of your effort and 5 is 0% of your effort.